into this brief message today. I've got a feeling that everything's gonna be alright. Oh, yes, I have. It's gonna be alright. Today from Job chapter 23, verse number 10. I sure would appreciate your amen. And Job chapter 23, verse number 10. I have it printed for you in the New King James Version, but I'm going to flip the script on you and I'm going to read it from the King James Version. Job 23:10. The text says, "But he knoweth the way that I take. He knoweth the way that I take. When?" He said, when he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. But he knoweth the way I take. When he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. I want to talk today about tried but trusting. Tried, but trusting. If the arm of Christ would indulge me a moment, just say it loud enough for your road to hear. I've been tried, but I'm trusting. Thank you, ushers. Tried, but trusting. I have discovered, brothers and sisters, time and time again, that the awesomeness of God is oftentimes seen and conveyed in the simplest things in life. Sometimes God conveys a powerful message with a pitiful resource. God is so incredible that he will communicate a profound message by way of a peculiar means. Last winter was just an example. I was taking a nature walk outside, and I noticed that about all of the trees, they had the same thing in common, and that was that all of the leaves had fallen off of the tree. But then as I kept walking, I looked way up at the top of a tree, and to my surprise, I saw one leaf that was still holding on. As I kept on walking and looking, I started thinking about all that that little leaf had seen in its lifetime. I began to think about all of the strong storms that little leaf had survived. I began to think about all of the extreme pressures that that leaf had dealt with. I began to think about all, brothers and sisters, of the hot heat and the freezing cold that that leaf had endured. And I realized the fact that that leaf had a testimony. That testimony was that in spite of all I had been through in my life, I'm still holding on. And I'm just wondering this morning, brothers and sisters, is there anybody up in here this morning who finds yourself saying, wait a minute, preacher, that sounds quite like my testimony. Is there anybody in this house that can testify, I'm just like the little leaf? Somebody in here can say, you can't tell by looking at me, but I've been through some strong storms. I survived a whole lot of floods. Somebody can say, I survived extreme temperatures. Somebody can say, I've had to deal with some long and cold nights. Somebody can say, I know what it is for people to be warm towards me in the morning and turn cold by midday. Somebody can testify, it's been rough in my life. I should have been gone by now. I should have been cut off by now. It should have been over by now. I should have lost my mind by now. And the only reason I'm still here to tell my testimony is because in the midst of it all, I just kept holding on to God. Oh, y'all don't hear me in here today. Back in the days of Luther Barnes, he wrote a song that everybody's choir song. They said I wouldn't make it. They said I wouldn't be here today. They said I'd never amount to anything. But I'm glad to say that I'm on my way, and I'm going more and more each day. But there were many like the leaf that started out with me, but now they've gone astray. But I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on. I'm still holding on to his hand. Oh, brothers and sisters, it has been said, and it is true, that life happens. Sometimes it takes everything within us to hold on to the God that's in us. Sometimes we find ourselves surprised by life's struggles and storms. Sometimes we find ourselves taking everything we got to hold on to God. Sometimes we find ourselves laying on the unhealthy pavement of life because we have been knocked down by hit and run disappointments, and we're laying on the unhappy pavement of life trying to jot down the license plate of fleeting hopes and dashing dreams. Have you ever had life to sucker punch you when you least expected it the most? Have you ever been sucker punched by life when you weren't looking for that to happen? Oh, brothers and sisters, but there is something in holding on to God. Holding on to God will make God hold on to you. And even as that leaf was holding on to the branch was holding on to the tree, and the tree was holding on to its roots, and the roots were holding on to the rock down under the ground. Somebody to preach because it's a difficult book to preach because none of us can really relate to the full length and dimensions of the sufferings of Job. You see, you and I, we go through a little headache and we say, I know how Job felt. No, you don't. Many of us, we go through a breakup in a relationship that probably needed to be broken up anyway. And we say, I know how Job felt. No, baby, you don't. Your mind cannot wrap around the extremities of the sufferings of this man called Job. My mind cannot articulate the extremities of the dramatic episodes of Job's life. As a matter of fact, Lifetime Movie Network could not write anything that could ever come close to the extremities of the sufferings of this man called Job. Well, if you don't know the story, let me introduce it to you very briefly. For the Bible teaches us that there was a man who was perfect or complete or whole and upright. And God literally recommended him to test to Satan. You see, Satan showed up in the presence of God. And before I go another further, let me just tell you that he showed up here today. If he will show up in the presence of God and his angels, he will definitely show up in choir. He'll show up in the deacon's meeting. He'll show up in the usher meeting. He showed up today. The thing about him is that he's too lazy to walk to church. So what he does is that he finds somebody that's a real investor. And he'll ride on a person in order to get to church. When I was a little boy, I used to sing a song that said, don't let the devil ride. If you let him ride, he'll want to drive. Don't let the devil ride. And Satan shows up in the presence of God and his angels. But can I just tell you that in the bottom of the White House, in the ground floor of the west wing of the White House, there is a 5,000 square foot complex called the Situation Room. In the Situation Room, our president and all of his powers that be meet to strategically plan what's going to happen in case of an emergency. So when Satan showed up in the presence of God, don't let that spook you, because it's just the Situation Room. In other words, God is at the head of the table. He is the one that's in control, and whatever your situation is, sometimes it looks like you're going to lose out and fall out and lose everything, but it's just a situation. It's not your permanent destination. And the Bible tells us that he shows up in the Situation Room, and God asks him a question, but God never asks a question to which he does not have the answer. He says to Satan, where have you been? Why did God ask him that question? I believe it was because he wanted to give him a chance to tell the truth for one time in his life. Do you know folk that just can't tell the truth? I mean, they will lie or smile on their face. That's evidence of who might be living on the inside of that building. He gave him a chance to tell the truth. He said, well, I've been walking to and fro, going here and there. I've been looking for somebody to mess with, somebody to test, somebody to see if you really are God in their life. Oh, brothers and sisters, God did not have to think long, for he had a man by the name of Job, J-O-B, that he knew could stand up to the job, J-O-B. He had a man by the name of Job that he recommended that Satan have the opportunity to test. I know you're thinking, why would God do something like that? I mean, after all, God is supposed to be my ace. God is supposed to have my back. Why would God allow the devil to test me? I'm kind of glad you asked that question, because I do have the answer. You see, the heavier the load that you're carrying is indicative of how much you have grown in God. If you can look at your life and you never have any heavy loads, it might be evidence that you're not a heavyweight yet. God only puts heavy loads on heavyweights. I'm just wondering in the house today, is there anybody that want to stop right now, jaywalk tradition and protocol, and thank God for the heavy load in your life? Because it means that God allowed it to happen. He planned it all out before then it happened in the Situation Room. God authorized Satan, go ahead with your bad self. You think you can make it Christmas about it? Go on and try it with your bad self. God recommended Job to be exposed to the power of Satan. Brothers and sisters, then the enemy goes on and proceeds to test Job. First of all, in Job we see a sovereign recommendation. God suggested Job be tested. I don't know what your first name is, but you ought to put your name in the place of Job. God suggested Job be tested. Now, God never recommends a person to do a job that he knows will fail at the job. Okay, here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're dealing with a heavy load, it means, number one, God pre-screened it and pre-weighed it before you got there. And he already promised you, I will not allow you to carry more than you're capable of carrying. So if you have been recommended by God, you ought to thank him, because it means that he trusts you in the middle of your trial, that he trusts you in the middle of your problem. It means that he trusts you to be faithful in the middle of hateration. He trusts you to walk with him in the middle of all that you're dealing with. This was a sovereign recommendation. It was a satanic investigation, because Satan began to go to work on Job. He began to touch him. He began to, number one, take his cattle. He took his cash. He took his kids. But before he could do anything else, he had to go back and report to God. And you need to know that nothing in your life ever happens except God approves. I said nothing ever happens in your life except God approves it. You know why God will allow things to happen in your life? It's just like that drive time commercial. You've seen it on TV. Every application, approved, 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 approved. If you're going through something in this place today, I come to tell you, God has just simply stamped on you the simple word approved, 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 approved. And whatever God has approved can't kill you. It's actually designed to promote you. There's a sovereign recommendation, there's a satanic investigation, but then I like this part, there's some specific limitations. He had to go back to ask permission from God to go any further in Job's life. Listen, God will never allow the enemy to trespass on his private property. God will never permit just a carte blanche to the enemy. He's not going to get an American Express in your life with no limits on it. God sets the limitations for what he can do based on what you can take. Let me run. Sovereign recommendation, satanic investigation, some specific limitations. But when Job passes the first test, Satan then goes back to him and says, let me touch him physically. Oh, yeah. You let me take his car, you let me take his house, you let me take all of that stuff. But now let me touch him personally, because I got a feeling if I can put some sickness on him, he'll curse it to your face. No, brothers and sisters, Job passed that test too, because Job, the Bible says, when he was sick, he had boils all over his body. Inside of those walls was running fluid. There was green and brown and yellow pus. It itched and hurt him so bad that he would take his wife's pottery and take it outside and put a pile of ashes together, sit down on it naked, and take his wife's pottery and break it in half on a rock outside, and take the jagged edges of that pottery and scrape those boils until they would run and ooze all over his body. And he was sitting there in dust and ashes, but I still can hear his feeble voice saying, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. I'm just wondering, is there anybody in the house that know you've been in this situation? You know your name came up in the situation room, and in spite of all you're dealing with, you can still say, blessed be the because your relationship with God has not been broken. So whatever happened, blessed be the name of the Lord. Our brothers and sisters, here's what you got to understand about the book of Job. And that is this, that Job was fine when he lost his money. He was fine when he lost his health. He was even fine when his old crazy wife came in the room and said, ain't you tired of this? Why don't you just curse God and die? Just end it all. Go on and die. He was fine with that. And Job was fine even when his four little fickle friends came to visit him. And you might be tempted to feel sorry for Job this morning because he didn't have the four friends, but the reality is, you don't have but 3 or 4 friends at this, and half of them are trifling in sometimes. Tell your neighbor, I hope the pastor ain't talking about you. His friends come to him and they say, Job, evidently you have done something against God that has really ticked God off. You have upset God. You have made God angry with you. That is the reason why you're going through what you're going through. And one of the things that I'm praying to be delivered from is parking lot prophets. Oh, help me today. That will create a word on the spot for your situation. God hadn't said a mumbling word. And then they go, yay. Trying to come up with a solution to make you feel better about your situation. And then there's some folk that are like Job's friend, just need to stay home. Don't go visit nobody if you don't have anything positive to say. If you can't encourage them, if you can't lift them up, if you can't make them feel better, just keep it at the house, baby. They told him that he was despised by God. But you know what? Job was fine with that. He was fine with losing his money. He was fine with losing his friends. He was fine with losing his family. But there was one problem that Job had, and that's when he felt like he lost his fellowship with God. Oh, I need some more church members who will understand that if I lose my house, that's fine. If I lose my money, that's fine. If I lose my status, that's fine. If I lose the support of my family, that's fine. But Lord, whenever you do, please don't take your anointing away from me. I need the anointing of the Holy Spirit. I need the power of the living God. I need the Holy Ghost to be at work in my life. Whatever you do, please don't take your spirit. Is there anybody in the house today that want more of God? That want His power operating in your life and want the power to flow in you? Job was fine. Take my car, take my money, take my wife if you want to, but please, whatever you do, don't take your spirit away from me. Now we have a mistaken understanding of the book of Job. Yes, he was patient, but he lost patience. Yes, he did trust in God, but there was a time around chapter number 20, 21, and 23 that Job had an attitude with God. Okay, y'all looking at me holy this morning, so let me come to your house, sit down at the breakfast table, and talk to you for a minute. Because there's somebody in here right now, you got an attitude with God. You wonder why has all this happened in my life. I started coming to church, I started tithing, I started trying to live right, and then I have to have all these circumstances that happen in my life. If the word of God is really what it is, then why am I dealing with this suffering? If God is real, why am I dealing with this pain? If the word of God is true, why am I dealing with all this difficulty? I'll tell you why. It's because God picked you out to be picked on so He could turn around and pick you up to put you where He wants you to be. Preach that, man, I'm trying. Somebody needs to know in this place that what you're dealing with is by divine design. God planned it out. God structured it out. God laid it out before the foundations of the world. That's why you can't strip through. In fact, you got to learn how to bless the Lord at all times and let his praises continually be in your mouth. In the midst of your hurt, you got to say hallelujah. In the midst of your pain, you got to say praise the Lord. In the midst of your difficulty, you got to dance because when the praises go up, bless him. Job, by chapter 23, Job is really got the FBI looking for God. Job has a warrant out for God's arrest. And he says, oh, that I might find him. If I could just get an audience with him and plead my case like Perry Mason or Leonard Dagley. Oh, that I might find him and argue my case and plead my point and ask him why you put this on me. And God remains silent. I wonder if anybody in the house has ever prayed and God remains silent. You ever ask God to do something for you and God remains silent? Somebody's praying right now, Lord, do this in my life, and God is not moving. Let me tell you why. Do you remember when we were in school and the teacher or the college professor would lecture us when we would go to class? The teacher did all the talking. But then when it come time for a test, the teacher got silent. And the purpose of the test or the pop quiz was to see how well you listened and how much you learned while the teacher was talking. So if you're in a point in your life right now and God has gone silent on you, all it really means is that you're taking a test right now. And the teacher can't talk in the middle of the test. While you're taking a test, it's an opportunity to remember what you have learned before the test happens. I'm going to the elevator, the stairs, but let me just leave you with this, brothers and sisters. Job says he complains in the first 9 verses of chapter number 23. Read it when you get home. He complains and whines and has a pity party, and he's feeling sorry for himself. But then when he gets to verse number 10, he changes his tune. And I don't know who I'm talking to in the house today, but somebody up in here, you need to change your tune. You need to come to verse 10 in your life. Let me take my last 5 minutes and share with you points that will help you to propel to the place God really wants you to be. What the Bible says in verse number 10, but he knows the way I take. And when he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Here's the first thing to remember when you're being tried, but you know you can trust him. Number one, trust that God knows your situation. Trust that God knows your situation. Now, let me explain something to you. The first word in verse number 10 is the word but. Now, in the English language, the word but is a conjunction. I hear you saying, conjunction, junction, what's your function? I hear you. A conjunction is a word that connects part of a sentence to another part of a sentence. But is a transitional word. It takes you from one train of thought to another train of thought. For instance, Psalm 30, verse number 5 sounds like a nightmare at first, but then it changes to a daydream. Weeping may endure for a night. Watch the transition. But joy comes in the morning. You see what I'm saying? But is a transitional term that changes the sentence to reflect not where I have been, but where I'm going. And Job says, when I think about where I have been, I'm upset, but I realize some things. He knows the way that I take. Here's what Job is saying. Job is really saying, he knows my situation. Somebody just say it, he knows my situation. You see, brothers and sisters, God has knowledge that is multifaceted. The reason why he knows is because he sees everything. And he plans everything. And he prepares everything. And before Job got to it, God had already gone through it. And when Job was in it, God put him in it to win it. And whatever it is that you're dealing with, I just really came to tell you before you go to sleep again that he knows your situation. Do me a favor and just look at somebody on your right or your left and tell them, because they did not hear me a moment ago, tell them he knows your situation. He says he knows the way that I take. Now, the scripture teaches us here that God is intimately aware of everything that is going on with his children. I shared this the other day, yesterday, at the Spiritual Enrichment Conference, that becoming a parent has increased the acuity of my hearing ability. Before Alton came along, before there was a Pastor Junior, I could sleep all night. I could storm, rain, whatever, fog on, you name it. I'm just as asleep as I can be. But since I became a daddy, my hearing ability has become much more precise in that I can pick his voice out in a crowd of other kids. Waiting in the office the other night, there were a lot of kids outside of the office and we heard some commotion, and Bishop looked at me and he said, "Is that your son?" I said, "No, that's not my son." But then I heard a certain giggle. I said, "That's my son." And it's the same thing with the God that we serve. Our Father knows us so well, knows us so specifically that he can pick us out of the middle of a crowd. He can hear your praise in the middle of a bunch of other praises. He can hear your worship in the middle of a bunch of other worship. You ought to try it right now. Just holler Jesus. He just recognized your praise. But the second thing that I see in the text as I head toward the dining hall is that we must trust that God is testing you. Trust that God is just testing you. Let me hear you say it. I gotta trust that God is just testing you. In the King James Version, the word tried literally means to be tested. It means to put through a process or a procedure to evaluate the value that's on the inside. And so God puts us through processes and procedures to evaluate that which is deep down on the inside. I want you to notice something about verse number 10, and that is that the word when in the King James translation is an italicized word. Now, whenever you see an italicized word in your Bible, it means that it was added to the original manuscript by the translator. Well, what does that mean to me? It means this. The verse reads, "But he knows the way I take, and when he has tried me." But in the original, what Job actually said was, "He knows the way I take, he has tried me." Okay, what's the difference in that, Pastor? Why do I need to know that? The reason why you need to know the difference between when he has tried me and he has tried me is because you're closer to coming out on the other side than you realize. Okay, let me try it again. Let me come get you. The translator said, "When he has tried me." Job actually said, "He has tried me." Anybody know that when you recognize the process for what it really is, and you can say it is what it is, it'll make your praise a whole lot easier because you're coming out sooner than you think. I don't know what 14 that might be for this afternoon, but I've come to preach and declare, prophesy in your life that you're coming out sooner than you think, because he has tried you. See, here's what you need to understand about tests with God. When God tries us, we should not flip out for the simple fact that it's always an open book test. All right, y'all shout mercy this time. All right. It's an open book test. What do you mean it's an open book test? It means that everything I go through, I got a book I can look in to find the answer to it. I know I can find the answer to what I'm dealing with. If my money gets funny, my change gets straight, I can go to the New Testament, to Philippians 4:19, "But my God shall supply all my need according to his riches in glory." If my body is sick and need to be made well, I can go back to Isaiah. "He was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities." If I need some peace of mind, I can go to Isaiah 26:3, "But that will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed." It's an open book. Yes, here's the third thing. We up out of here. We up out of here. I'm working too hard. We up out of here. Here's the third thing. Trust that you will come out out better. Somebody said, trust that you'll come out better. Notice what he says. Here it is. He says, when he has tried me, he says, I shall come forth as gold. Notice this proclamation and declaration that Job makes. He said, when he has tried me, or rather, I know already he has tried me, and at the end of his trying me, I'm declaring over my own life, I shall come forth as gold. His wife told him to curse God and die. His friend said, you must have done something wrong. His money was funny. His change was strange. But his faith still said, in the midst of what I'm dealing with, I can prophesy over my own life and declare the word over my own life. I shall come forth as gold. What you got to understand is that what you're going through right now is merely a process designed for promotion. I said what you're going through right now is merely a process designed for promotion. How is that a process? I just lost my house. How is that a promotion? I just lost my job. How is that a promotion? I'll tell you how it is a promotion. Romans 8 and 20 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that's called according to his purpose. Anybody in the room today know everything is working for your good. Everything the devil is trying to do to you is working for your good. Every enemy the devil brings to tear you down is working for your good. All the sickness you've been going through is working for your good. And in the end, you shall come forth as pure gold. Oh, do I have a witness here? And know God is able to bring you out like gold. Well, let's go to the dining hall. But let me just tell you that when gold comes out, it's not born in the image that you see on your finger, but gold is down in a cave. Gold is down in a mountain. And it takes a process in order to develop gold. They have to dig down in the mountain. They have to put a shaft down in the mountain. They have to send some men down in the mountain in order to dig the coal out of the mountain. But even after they get the coal out of the mountain, they have to crush the coal and look through it and see, is there anything worth keeping in this? Somebody in here can testify. Job was not the only one that's been crushed. Job was not the only one that's gone through the process. Oh, in my life, I've been going through the process. I came to tell you, trust God that you're going to come out better than you went in. Is there anybody here? No, you will. Prophesy over yourself and say, I shall come forth as pure gold. Yeah. And the Bible said, to hear. And I came to tell you, God is about to release double for all the trouble in your life. God is getting ready to bring you out. I said, God is about to bring you out. Is there a witness in here? And no, God is about to bring you out. That problem that I had just couldn't seem to solve. I prayed and I prayed, kept getting deep in God, that I turned it, over to Jesus. I'll stop worrying about it. I gave it to the Lord, and He only working out. Shake somebody's hand and say, neighbor, I'm on my way out of this. Say, neighbor, watch me. Give God an out of this praise. I got to praise Him because He's bringing me out. I got to praise Him because what has been is over, and the best is yet to come. Anybody can know the best is yet to come. Anybody can know the best is yet to come. Say yeah. I need to just tell somebody in here, in spite of what you're dealing with, you can make it. And sometimes God takes us through because we're the closest thing to Him. I was a teacher's pet in elementary, middle school, and high school. I'm done. But let me just tell you this. I was a teacher's pet. I was a teacher's pet. Some folks didn't like it. But I loved it. It provided me with some privileges that everybody didn't have. I remember my fourth grade teacher, Miss Carter. I still remember her brown hair, about 6 to 8 years old. She drove a 1975 Buick two-door, velvet and crushed interior, beige, wood grain steering wheel, chrome hubcaps. They didn't have rings. Chrome hubcaps. Now ask me why I know that. The reason why I know that is because even in elementary school, I kept the keys to her Buick. Because she would always need something, take them to the car. And she would just call my name and say, here. And I would take the keys and put it in the car for her. In high school, I was the favorite student in the chorus. I was the student conductor in chorus and went to All-State and all that kind of stuff. And one time after a concert, my professor told me to warm up the choir as I normally would, and I decided to do something we had just done in the concert. All my peers, my fellow students got upset. Why we got to do that? Why we got to go through that? Why him? Why? Then my professor came out and he said, I'm so glad you took them through that, because so often we forget what we've learned. Then he said these words, I'll never forget it. The reason why I chose him is because he's the closest thing in here to me. I just want to tell you that the reason why you're going through what you're going through is because God sees you as the closest thing to Him. So you ought to give Him glory and praise. And He sees that much in you to put car keys in your hand, throw it on the table, and to recommend you to Him. And in the midst of all you're going through, you can make this profession, I shall come forth. You know what come forth means? It means I'm stuck right here, right now. But this is not the end of my life. I'm going to come out of this. I don't know who this is for today. But if you trust in God today, He'll allow you to come forth. Try. God is trying me, but I'm still trusting Him. I'm trying, but I'm trusting Him. I still believe Him. I believe God for you today. There's somebody here today whose life is not where it ought to be right now. There's no joy, there's no peace. You find yourself without a Savior. You find yourself so far from God right now. But I hear the Lord saying, if you just trust me today, trust me with your life, trust me with your heart, trust me with everything that's in you, I'll fight you down, I'll be there for you, I'll give you joy, I'll do whatever it is that it needs to make sure you're taken care of. Why? Because you get closer to Him. And the closer you get to God, the more He'll do for you, the more He'll fight you better. You're here today. You don't have a church home. You're in between churches. They're going here and there. You're here for church. Can I tell you something? You need a good church. You need an extension to your family. That's the kind of church that we try to be, a loving, warm family that reaches out to one another, embraces one another through the good times and the bad times. I'm the kind of pastor that I'll always remain that even though we have 5,000 members that you can touch, you can call, you can talk to. That's the kind of folks we are here in New Mountain. I want to invite you, my friend, my brother, my sister, single person, or bring your whole family. Come today and give your heart to Jesus Christ. Trust Him. If you trust Him, and then I want to invite you to come and be a part of the church. Maybe you're the backslidden stage. Trust Him again. He's still reaching for you. He still loves you. You can't go too far to get out of His sight, out of the reach of His hand. As we rest on our feet, Lord, touch those who may be here today who need to make a decision for Him. In Jesus' name. Amen. The doors of the Lord's house are now open. Would you come? Take a seat on the front row. Give your life to the Lord with your heart to Jesus. Pray for those around you. Receive placement in the church. You need a church home. Here's what God says to you. To all, I'll be with you. I will be with you. Yep. And you will only trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Would you trust me? I'll never leave you. I'll never leave. He's calling your name. He says you're going to come out like gold. I'll never leave you. Trust me.